Write down a heading, short-term scheduler. Even short-term scheduler, there's another name that is called CPU scheduler. Within brackets, write down CPU scheduler. Right, first point. Short-term scheduler decides which process in the ready queue short-term scheduler decides which process in the ready queue should be sent to the running state next. Which process in the ready queue should be sent to the running state next. Actually, the choice or the selection is done by short-term scheduler, but the process picked and sent to the running state done by dispatcher. Okay, short-term scheduler decide which process should be assigned to running state next, but it do not pick the process and that means put into CPU. It is done by dispatcher. Okay, same point right down there. It doesn't load the process to CPU. It doesn't load
Sir,
the, yeah,
can you repeat it again?
yeah, earlier point. Is it okay?
No, sir. That point only.
Yeah, short-term scheduler decides which process in the main memory should be sent to the running state next. Okay, have you completed?
Okay, sir.
Right,
Thank you.
then next one, the same point right down there. It doesn't load the process, it doesn't load the particular process to CPU. The loading is not done by short-term scheduler. Selection is done by short-term scheduler here. Loading is done by dispatcher. Okay, that's why that's what I want to mention there. So it doesn't load the particular process to CPU. Next point, it doesn't load the particular process to CPU. Second point, dispatcher is responsible for loading the process into the CPU. Dispatcher is responsible for loading the process into CPU. Okay, right. Hope that's enough, students. So I have explained why the names given long term, short term, and mid term. You have to remember that here frequency of happening this is low. Here frequency is middle. Here frequency is high. Frequency high means short term. Frequency middle means mid term. Frequency low means yes, long term scheduler. Right? Hope it's clear. So those are the three schedulers works while we are discussing this process management. Thereafter, we have to discuss process control block. Okay, right. I'll explain it little, then we'll we'll go to the whiteboard, students. Right. So process control block. If a process starts, what is the state? If a process initially a process start, what is the state of that process, students?
New state.
Yeah, it is in new state. Yeah, good. So if a process start its execution, the information of that process is handled, or information about that process is maintained by using process control block. Because to a process may in 7 states, a process may in new, ready, running, terminated, blocked, suspend blocked, or suspend ready. Likewise, there are several states. So the information of that particular process, each and every process, information of each and every process should maintain. It is very important. Okay, that is done using process control block. Okay, simply if I say what is process control block, a process control block is a data structure is maintained by operating system for each and every process. That is the simple meaning. I'll give a note, students. First of all, we'll discuss what is PCB. Actually, in short term, we are using PCB, process control block. A process control block is a data structure maintained by the operating system for each and every process. So architecture of the PCB is completely depend on the operating system, students. If we are using Windows operating system, depend on that PCB is changed. If you are using Linux operating system, Ubuntu operating system, Mac operating system, according to the operating system PCB, the informations maintained by PCB is changed. That means different operating system contains different information on PCB, process control block. So we have to discuss common data structure, or common, what are the common informations maintained by every operating system. There are some differences according to the operating system, but there are all the operating system maintain some common features of a process. In process control block, we have to discuss those things, students, right? I'm going to the whiteboard, just a minute. Is it clear what is process control block, students? Students, is it clear what is process control block? Sorry,
Can you explain it again?
right, okay. If a process start its execution, the status of that process have to maintain in main memory. That method is called process control block. So if there are 10 processes in a new, running, or ready, terminated, any state that process may reside, so all those process information is stored in the main memory as process control block. That data structure is called process control block. Each and every process PCB is there. If a process starts its execution until its termination, PCB is there. PCB is maintained. Then only operating system can identify this process, this particular process, where is it resides now. What is the status of that? What are the input output needs for that? Likewise. Okay. So a process control block is a data structure maintained by the operating system for each and every process. If there's 100 processes, 100 PCB are there in main memory, because to maintain those processes. If a process terminated, that PCB, that particular PCB is deleted, removed by the main memory. Okay. For example, 50 processes are there. 2 processes went to the terminated state. Then 2 PCBs deleted and 48 PCBs are there. Because 48 PCBs are there means 48 processes are running. 48 processes are executing. It may be in ready state, it may be in running state, it may be in block state, suspend block state, whatever. Still, those processes are not completed, not going to terminated. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. We'll see. That
Thank
means
you.
welcome. According to the operating system, the PCB information handled or maintained by PCB is different, but there are some common features, common informations each and every operating system maintained in PCB. PCB means process control block. Okay, it is that means according to one process, one PCB is there. We'll see what are the common or the general information is maintained by a PCB. Right, I'm going to whiteboard, students. Just a minute. We are discussing about PCB, students. Process control block. In short form, we call it as PCB. Right. So we are taking common information. Each and every operating system depends on the operating system. The details or the information maintained in PCB is changed, but we are taking common information. So first one, we can have process state. Process state. What do you mean by process state, students? How many process states are there?
7.
Yeah, 7 state. So in PCB, it is mentioned in which state that particular process is now. It may be new, may be ready, block, suspend ready, likewise. That is called process state. So process state is maintained in the PCB for each and every process, okay? Second one, process ID, students. Whenever a process starts its execution, a unique ID is assigned by the operating system. There is a numeric ID, for example, 172, 172, okay, 291. Likewise, process ID is assigned to that particular process by operating system. That is called process ID. Number, integer value is given to that process. That is called process ID. That is given by operating system. So process ID is mentioned in the PCB process control block. Next, program counter. What is that program counter? Students, what is program counter? In A-level ICT syllabus, second lesson. At the end of the second lesson, that means near to end, we are discussing. Hope you can remember. I didn't, that means teach you, I didn't taught you that part. Fetch, decode, execute cycle. Can you remember this? Fetch, decode,
Yes,
execute cycle. In this place, we are learning program counter. What is that program counter? Do you have any idea? Fetch, decode, execute cycle. That means if I explain it, that means in brief, programs are reside in main memory, RAM. So it is fetched by control unit. It's called fetched. Control unit decode it. In control unit, decoding is happen. Decode. After that, it is sent to arithmetic and logical unit. I'll put decode here. Decode. And arithmetic and logical unit execute it. After that, it store in RAM again. This is called fetch, decode, execute cycle. So we learned this part in second lesson at the end of second lesson. So a program in the process in the main memory, the main memory instructions are fetched by the fetch to the CPU control unit, and decoding happens in control unit. And after that, decoded instructions and data given to the arithmetic and logical unit. Arithmetic and logical unit execute, that means process, execute it. After that, it store in main memory again. This is called fetch, execute, fetch, decode, execute cycle. So in this place, we are learning some memory registers. Okay, so program counter means if you take a program like this, hundreds of lines are there. So we think this is the line currently executing this line. So program counter points next line. That means next line's address is stored on program counter. We learned this part in second lesson. Okay, not here, just I explained it. So this is a program. So hundreds of lines are there. Currently this line is executing. So next line, the memory address of the next line is stored in program counter. So process control block, process is running. Whenever process is running, next instruction, what instruction to be execute next is stored. That memory address is stored in program counter. Clear? Students, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. If we, that means if you forget that fetch, execute, decode cycle, go to your note. That means school, they have given a note and they have explained it. So go to that note, that particular note part, and see what is fetch, decode, execute cycle. Then easily you can understand program counter, right? Okay. So program counter is maintained in process control block. And CPU registers, this is also in fetch, execute, decode cycle. CPU registers, what are the CPU registers, students? Can you mention some CPU registers? These things we have mentioned in that fetch, execute, decode cycle. Yeah, can you remember CPU registers, common CPU registers? Whenever a program is executing or a process is executing, CPU registers are used. What are the CPU registers? Yeah, memory address register, MAR.
So can you give notes for first and second unit? I mean short notes.
That means I have some notes, not all the notes. That means I have prepared some note, but some notes I am giving orally. So whatever I have, I can give, no problem. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. So memory address register and memory data register, control instruction register, CIR, MAR, MDR, CIR, and accumulator. These are the common registers reside inside the CPU. So these register details, CPU register details are maintained by PCB. Okay, whenever program is executing, CPU registers need memory address register. These things we, that means in detail we are we'll see this thing in fetch, decode, execute cycle, but here it is not possible to explain it. It's a big thing, that means big concept. So MAR, MDR, memory address register, memory data register, control instruction register, and accumulator are the registers used in CPU. So CPU register details also maintained by the PCB. And fifth one, memory management information. Fifth one, memory management info. Okay, memory management information is maintained by PCB. This part we are so far we didn't discuss this memory management. After process management only we are going to memory management. Actually in memory management, then we are learning page tables and segment tables and frames, those kind of things. In that point I'll explain what is memory management. So this memory management information is maintained or is mentioned in PCB, process control block. And sixth one, it is IO status information. Sorry, IO status information. So what are the input and output devices need when a process is executing, that is maintained in PCB? So that's why a process, that means operating system, can verify is it a process, sorry, CPU bound process or IO bound process. In this information, IO status information, it includes list of IO devices allocated to that particular process. If a process is that means start its execution, PCB is maintained in main memory. So IO status info, in this part, what are the input output devices need to allocate for that particular process is mentioned here. Therefore, operating system can decide, is this IO bound process or is this CPU bound process? If it needs more IO time, it is a IO bound process. If it do not need more IO bound time, that means it needs more CPU time, it is CPU bound process. So that's all students. That means there are some more, but no need to mention. These are the common details or common information maintained by a process control block. Process control block means a data structure which is maintained by operating system for each and every process, right? So it's better to have a write 2 or 3 points related to PCB. Thereafter we'll write this. Okay, right, put the heading as process control block, students. Put the heading as process control block within brackets PCB. First point, a process control block is a data structure. A process control block is a data structure maintained by the operating system for each and every process separately. For each and every process separately. Separate process control blocks are there for each and every process separately. Where this PCB resides, students? Yeah. Students, this PCB resides
In
where?
every states.
Sorry?
In every states.
I'm asking where PCB is stored.
In CPU.
No, not CPU. CPU can't store data. CPU for only executing, that means only processing. Then where PCB is stored? I have mentioned in main memory. Okay, in main memory. All right. Okay, first point, hope you have written. A process control block is a data structure maintained by the operating system for each and every process separately. Right. Second point, the architecture of a PCB is completely depends on OS, write OS, short form. The architecture of a PCB is completely depends on OS. Third point, until a process, until, just a minute, until right, until a process move to termination, until a process move to termination, PCB is maintained. Until a process move to termination, PCB is maintained. Right, then thereafter, it's better to write down this information I have given. I wrote in the whiteboard. Process control block. These are the informations maintained by a PCB. Process state, process ID, program counter, CPU registers, memory management info, and IO status info. Quickly write down it, students. After completion, raise your hands. Okay, students, hope you have completed what are the informations maintained by a PCB, process control block. So 6 informations, these are common informations maintained by a PCB. So according to the operating system, there may have some other informations. So no need to remember those, but you have to remember all these, right? Thereafter, we'll discuss. We have to go to the process transition diagram again. We have to discuss context switching. Okay, we have discussed context switching. So if a process start its execution, it is in new state. Then it comes to ready state, or even we can say comes to ready queue. And that particular process, one by one processes are moved to running state. And if a process in running state, if it completes its execution, it goes to terminated state. If a process need input output request or process need input output, comes to blocked state. Okay, right. These 5 states are enough to explain context switching. A process in new state, we call it as admit to the ready state. A process in ready, processes are in ready state. Selection is done by short-term scheduler, and dispatch, we call it as dispatch. By using dispatcher only, that selected particular process sent to the allocated to the CPU or the running state. If a process in running state need IO request, it goes to blocked state. If it completes IO event or IO completion, IO complete, it goes to ready state. If a process complete its execution, it goes to terminated state, right? So a running process, a process in running state may move on to the terminated state after completion. After complete the execution, it goes to terminated. If a process need IO request, it comes to block state. And a running process may move to the ready state. This is called context switching. Okay, students, right? I'll explain it. If a running process complete its execution and goes to terminated, it is not called context switching. For running state, a process in running state, it needs IO request and comes to block state. It is not called context switching. if a process in running state stop its execution and send it to the ready state, this is called context switching. Okay, here we have taken earlier diagram, timeout and priority. So can you remember what is multi-programming and multitasking? What is the main difference between multi-programming and multitasking? Can you remember, students? Someone? I already explained these things. Multi-programming and multitasking operating system. At the beginning of this lesson, we learned it. I taught it to you. Students, what is the difference between multi-programming and
Multi-programming,
yeah,
until the process gets finished, it should wait.
yeah,
But in multitasking, it will switch.
yeah. In multitasking, this context switching is possible, but multi-programming context switching is not possible because forcefully we can't remove a process which is in running state in multi-programming. I have explained that in that point. I have explained that part. Okay. Yeah. If it is multi-programming, that particular process is running on the CPU. If it complete its execution, it can goes to terminated. If that particular process need IO request, it can comes to blocked state. Then only another process in ready queue can allocate to the CPU. In multi-programming, we can't stop a process which is running on the CPU forcefully. A process itself go to terminated state, no problem. A process itself goes to blocked state, no problem. But forcefully we can't stop a process which is running on the CPU in multi-programming concept. But multitasking is not like that. Multitasking, time quantum is given. Time quantum is given by operating system. For example, we'll take 5 milliseconds. So whatever the program needs, program may need 100 millisecond. A program may need 50 millisecond. A program may need 20 millisecond. Whatever, after 5 millisecond, it stop its execution and save the state and send back it to the ready state. That is called context switching. Okay, that is called
Excuse
context.
me, sir.
Yeah.
Ilma is having a power cut, so she won't be able to join.
Right. Okay. No problem. The recording is going. Okay. Jazakallah. Thanks. Okay. I'm explaining context switching, students. In multitasking concept, context switching is that means can be happen in multitasking because a running process can stop its execution forcefully and send it back to the ready state. It is called context switching. Whenever context switching is happened, it is very important to save the state. If not, again that process come to running state. What has happened? If the state of that process is not stored whenever context switching is happening, what happen if that particular process again comes to execution? Yes, what can happen, students? Hope you can understand what I am saying, right? A process